Hi, I'm Catherine. I live in the rural Midwest with my husband and our 3 daughters. This is my video podcast where I share my making adventures with a variety of crafts. And today I have knitting and sewing to share with you. I really appreciate you watching along and seeing what I've been doing. I love making these videos because it helps me also feel a sense of accomplishment and progress. I've been kind of feeling like I hadn't been getting much done, but today I have 4 finished objects to share with you from the last 2 weeks, so that's really exciting. And the first one is what I'm wearing. Yay! Finally, this has been, I think 10 weeks I've been working on this, maybe a little bit longer. This is my Mark at Henley, which is a pattern by Claire Jackson. She did a free pattern day in January. Sorry, I feel like I have something in my eye. She did a free pattern day in January, and I'd been eyeing this for a while, but it wasn't on my make 9. I didn't specifically have yarn for it, but when she had the free pattern day, I snatched this pattern and I was like, I'm making this next, and we're dyeing up the yarn. I already had 2 skeins dyed up plus some extras from a different project. And so I asked my husband to help me dye up a 3rd skein for it. And then I cast on. Well, actually I cast on before we finished dyeing the yarn. But yeah, this is Mark at Henley by Claire Jackson. It's a fingering weight t-shirt Henley, and it can be short sleeves or long sleeves. I've done mine short sleeves, and I've knit the size 48-inch bust. I used, yarn that we dyed, and I alternated skeins. There's some variety in the colors. I also used a US 4 needle, which is a 3.5 millimeter needle, which is one size down from what she recommends in the pattern, but that's what it took for me to get gauge. Last time I showed you, I had finished the sleeves and the collar, and I just had to finish the bottom. I wasn't sure about the sleeves at that point, but I did block it, and I think it's fine. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna have to rip them out. I don't have to rip them out. They turned out fine. I don't think it's weird at all now that I'm finished, except for any places where my cat likes to massage my knits. So if I leave it where she can get it, I have that problem. So yeah, this is that. Oh, and I have hair everywhere because I have hair. So yeah, it is a Henley design, and it calls for 3 buttons. This is one of probably the biggest modification I did. I put the buttons on, but I didn't think that I would often actually button it. And I thought when it was buttoned that it kind of like right here, it like bunches kind of funny when it's buttoned. And so I just decided I didn't want buttons. I'm not going to put them on. I did put them on and try it, and I knew that I really liked it without the buttons, and I decided that that was the style for me. So it does have buttonholes, but you can't see them because they're like, well, maybe you can see this one when my finger pokes through. But they're built into the ribbing, so I don't think you can see them very well at all. Otherwise, it's kind of like a crew neck, but if I leave the buttons open, it gives a little bit more of a V-neck. I knit, it looks like 5 pattern repeats on the sleeves. 5 pattern repeats plus the recommended ribbing on the sleeves. I did do decreases as called for in the pattern until I was ready to do the ribbing. The pattern has like decreases for if you do it long sleeves, but so I just did a couple decreases as it was called for. I love it. I'm really, really happy. I did have to alternate skeins, so there was a lot of ends, especially like with a drop shoulder where you like do the back and then you stop and do half the front and then you stop and then you do the other front and then you can keep going, but then you also have to do each sleeve and the collar. And yes, but I love it. I'm gonna try to stand up, I think. just so you can see how long I made it. I'm guessing it's longer than the pattern recommends because I am tall torsoed and I don't do cropped. So I have it all the way down to my hips, and the bottom ribbing matches the top. It's, please go back to sleep. You might hear the baby a little bit. I'm sorry. She's still supposed to be sleeping, so we'll see about that. It is fully blocked, ends are woven, cut. I haven't taken like my finished object photos yet, and I haven't measured it yet, but I like the way that it fits. So this is my Mark Henley, and I'm really excited to be wearing it. So I don't think I have any other thoughts right now on it. Other people are always like, would I make it again? I don't have enough knitting time to remake anything. So I love it, but I have no future plans on making it again because I wouldn't make anything again because I have too many things that I want to keep making. There are other Claire Jackson patterns that I like that I might be interested in trying again or in trying out. But for now, I'm trying to focus on my Make 9 because those are things that I've wanted for a while. I still, if I look at them, I'm like, I don't want that anymore. I'm not going to stress about it. But I look at it and I'm like, I still want those. So I'm going to focus on, you know, making up though. I'm going to focus on making the things on my Make 9 that I really want, rather than so many good new patterns too coming out that I want. So it's all difficult because I really, have a lot of different things that I want. Anyway, Mark Henley, I love it. And I knew that I wanted this one because I'd seen so many other people make it and it looked good on everybody. Like, it looked good on every body size that I saw it on. And I thought, I like that. It doesn't just look good on skinny people or just look good on larger people. It looked good on a variety of different body sizes and shapes. And so that was really one of the reasons why I wanted to try it. All right, to my next finished objects. These are the dresses I sewed for my daughters for Easter, and they got to wear them. There's a long thread. They got to wear them last week on Easter Sunday. This is the larger size. And unfortunately, I did make this bodice part like a little bit too long for my daughter, but I'm not bad enough that I'm going to fix it. You can see that I am not a professional seamstress. Nothing here. Oh, it sounds like the baby did go back to sleep. Nothing here is perfect. But I just used a dress, my daughters, one dress from each of their sizes that they already had to make a template. And I got this fabric from Hobby Lobby for $7 a yard. So I bought 3 yards, so $21 for 2 dresses, and I have fabric left over. I'm not sure if it's enough to make anything because I haven't assessed that. I did a gathered skirt, which ended up being, I was planning on doing like 1.5 times the width, but I think I ended up accidentally doing 3 times the width. So that makes the skirt a lot heavier, but I don't think that it really looks bad. It does make it really hard because I put it in pockets. It makes it really hard for my girls to find their pockets because there's like so much fabric around their waist, and it doesn't necessarily, like, their pockets aren't hitting them at exactly the perfect spot on their waist either because, like I mentioned, this part is too long, or I put the pockets mostly too low. But they are both really happy to wear them. They love them. They were actually really mad that I brought them downstairs and didn't leave them in their closet this morning. So this one, that's the larger size, has a blue skirt, And this one I made in a smaller size, and it has a green skirt. So yeah, still has pockets, still has imperfections. This one, you can see like the neckband kind of rolls a little bit. I have a stretch stitch on my machine, like a straight stretch stitch. It's like 3, like front and back. I don't know exactly how it works, but so I use that, and most of the time it worked well. I did try to use like my stretch. I have a stretch zigzag also to like finish some of the edges, just to hope that it will last better. But I probably didn't, yeah, I didn't do every edge. Like, I didn't do these edges in the sleeve. Sometimes there was only so much that I had energy for. And I was up very late Saturday night sewing these before Easter. Even though at that point, all I had to do was the hem. Since I made the skirt so wide and gathered it, there is a lot of bottom skirt to hem. So yeah, we're really happy. They look adorable in them. However, I don't have any super cute photos because, no, I do not want to. They did not cooperate. So, it looks like it's not the highest quality fabric, so I don't know how long it will last. And they're hard playing girls. Like, they're outside running around, digging in the dirt, playing in the sandbox, playing with sticks and leaves and stuff. We have 2 cats, so nothing, unfortunately, that doesn't wear super well lasts super long. And so yeah, those are 2 more finished objects I have, and it does make me want to sew more. I'm like, ooh, I should make myself that dress that I've been trying to make. I think the holdup is I want to make another hinterland dress, and it calls for buttons in the front, and I had a lot of trouble getting my sewing machine to do the buttonholes. And also I then bought snaps to try to figure out how to use snaps, and I couldn't get those to work well because I thought maybe snaps would be like a better solution for me than buttons in the front. So we'll see. I don't know. That is the holdup on that project right now. I probably just need to play along with my snap maker and get it figured out, or maybe try a better one. Maybe I just bought too cheap of one off of Amazon. My last finished object is let me see if I think it's called Micah's Satchel, which is a pattern by Hannah Graham. And I made this out of Yarn Bee Bambootiful in their pink color, I think it's called Rose. I knit the size medium using a US 5 3.75 millimeter needle. I still have more of this yarn. I don't know if it's quite enough to make another one, but if it is, that's probably how I'll use it, because I feel like it's heavy for a garment. Like, I made myself and I made my 3-year-old each a t-shirt out of this, but it's just heavy. Like, when I wear that t-shirt, I can feel that I'm wearing that t-shirt. Whereas like this feels a lot lighter, even though it's cotton bamboo and this is merino wool. The cotton bamboo is heavy for its, I don't know, gauge, I guess. And so, yeah, I think if I have enough, I'll try to make another purse out of it. There is an optional buttonhole, and I did not do that this time. I had shown some concerns last time about this top part being kind of bubbly, but I feel like it blocked out pretty nicely. And one of the things I'm most proud of was how kind of clean that part looks, where the I-cord and the front flap and the front open part all kind of attached together. I wove in my ends and tried to tidy it up really well. So I'm pretty excited about how nicely, those turned out. This is better, by far better than the 2 times I made this before. I made one for each of my girls probably over a year ago. And this one looks nicer than those ones. So I'm really pleased with this. It was a nice little quick project. And I will probably make more because I think every little kid I know needs one of these. So yeah, that's the current plan. I'll probably be making more. All right, those are my finished objects. I'm hearing the baby again. We're a little bit, we've adjusted her naps. And yesterday didn't go very smoothly. Yesterday was not the first day, just because of life. Yesterday didn't go very smoothly. And sometimes when you have an off day, it kind of takes a little bit more of a reset the next day. She's not very loud. So I'll go into my first whip, which are my socks that I'm knitting for myself out of some sport weight yarn. Most of this is Wonderland Yarns Mad Hatter mini skein. I got this as a prize from Amy of Noble Character Crafts for last year's Make 9 Make Along, and now I'm using it this year. I did make a hot water bottle cover already with it. That was on my Make 9 board. And now I'm using what I have left over to make a pair of socks. They're not going to be super long just because I am a little bit worried about running out of yarn. This is one of those times where maybe being a toe-up sock knitter would have been worth it. But also I don't really want to knit them both, so like at one time. So it is what it is. This is how far I am. The heel is Patton's Croy. I don't have the label for that anymore. And I'm going to do the toes in it also. So I've used 4 of the 5 colors in this sock so far. There isn't very much of this goldish yellow color left. So I could maybe do like 1 stripe in each sock with it, or I could do the cuff of the second sock with it. I was kind of thinking I would save it for the cuff, but now I like the idea. Yeah, I'm probably gonna save it for the cuff because I've already picked up the gusset in this color. So I've just picked up the gusset stitches. I don't think I've even done any decreases yet. In this light gray color for another 10 round repeat. So yeah, those are going well. I did the whole heel flap and heel turn last night, so woo, good progress. While I was beating my husband at cribbage, I knit the heel flap and the heel turn. But I didn't pick up stitches until this morning because it's too busy using my brain to beat him at cribbage. So I did not quite skunk him. And it is not because I'm a superior cribbage player. It is because the cards were in my favor. If you play cribbage, you might know what I'm talking about. It's been a long time since we'd played though, so we really enjoyed that. Right. I am also working on another dishcloth. Ta-da! This is, I love this cotton Hobby Lobby US 8 5mm needles. I need to get it on different needles though because it hurts my hands to work on the short needles, the short needle tips on this thick cotton yarn. So I've done 2 purple ones. I have some purple yarn left over. Now I'm using this variegated. I also have a blue color to make 2 dishcloths out of. Nothing too exciting there. My most exciting whip is my new one, obviously. And that is the stripe hype sweater, which is a pattern by Veronika Lindberg. I think her handle is Kutu Vakika. And I showed you the yarn for it before, and I have a finished back panel. Ta-da! So this is Cascade 220 non-superwash. This bluish gray color I had purchased before, and it didn't work out for what I thought I was going to use it for before, but it was a discontinued color, so I couldn't like order enough to make a full sweater. I couldn't order more and make like a typical sweater with it. So I knew I needed to use it for something like stripey, and I found 3 contrasting colors to add in. The pattern calls for 5, but that would be more yarn than I wanted to purchase, and I found it hard to find like 4 or 5 contrast colors that I thought would look good with my main color, because a lot of people knit it with like a very neutral cream, OD, light neutral main color, and since I was doing something else, I found it a little bit harder to find contrasting colors. I have burgundy and sunflower, and this is ginger. This will be my last one, my 3rd contrast color, and I'm not 100% on how I'm going to make it all work. I'm like kind of short on yardage for each individual thing, but I do have enough of this yellow. I bought 2 skeins of the sunflower. But yeah, and I'm also like long torsoed, and I want to make sure that I can knit it long enough, but the stripes are built in sequences of 3. So I'm unsure exactly how I will adjust if I feel like it's not long enough after I've knit the 9 stripes for the body. So I'm ready to pick up for the front and see how that goes. I am also knitting off gauge. This is pattern calls for DK gauge, and this is a worsted yarn, and I'm just knitting it at what gauge I like and then knitting down a couple sizes. So I haven't measured yet. I just blocked it last night. I need to measure before I pick up the front. And make sure that I'm getting like the dimensions that would be recommended for my body size, but I'm knitting the size medium. So yeah, after knitting this in fingering weight yarn at gauge, moving up to like a worsted gauge sweater garment where I'm like knitting down to a size medium, this back panel flew. I think just a couple days. I think I finished the back panel the day after I finished this. So I started it before, but then I was kind of only working on it when I couldn't work on this. And so once I finished my Market Henley and this became more of my main project, it has gone really, really quickly. And unfortunately, I like needed to block it yesterday at like noon. So the dishcloth and the socks got a little bit more work yesterday, but I'm hoping to measure it and check that everything's kind of coming out the size I want, and then pick up the front, I think front left, tonight, hopefully this afternoon. I am carrying my yarn up the side. The pattern doesn't specifically tell you whether you should or not, but I have enough ends to weave in my life. So I'm carrying the contrast color up, but I did have to, cut them to finish off the back panel. I think that's all on that one. I don't always like managing 2 balls of yarn at one time either, but I think I prefer that to starting and stopping and weaving in a bunch of ends. those are my finished objects. I did get yarn in the mail from Jenny Lee of Wyoming Knits. I won this yarn as a prize for her Scrappy knit along that she's running this year. It is on Ravelry. You should join along. My stripe pipe, I think I will add in to sweater category. And then I've got more scrappy socks as well. So it's a year-long make-along, and she's going to draw quarterly prizes. So far, she has a blanket category, a sweater category, and an accessory category. And so far, I've only added accessories. Socks count in that category. But I'm gonna have a sweater next, and I have another garment that I hope to do really quickly, and then I'm gonna cut it short. I'm not gonna talk about anything else. This is the yarn she got for me, or she sent to me. It is Sock Obsession Yarns, 100% superwash merino, single ply, 400 yards. It's really pretty. And then she threw in some extra stuff. I've got a sticker and a mini skein, which is really pretty. And I would guess that this has nylon in it, but I don't know that I would be able to feel it if it did or not. But that maybe she included that so I could make socks, which I'm going back and forth on what to do. And then some cute little needle stoppers, stitch stoppers, little owls. So yeah, I was really excited to win a prize and receive it in the mail from Jenny Lee, and I'm so grateful for that. I just love how generous the knitting community is, and I'm grateful, yeah, to get to benefit from that generosity every now and then. I feel like I've been extra blessed because I got yarn from Amy, and I got yarn from Stephanie, and now I got yarn from Jenny Lee, and that is just so fun. All right, I'm gonna close out there so I can go take care of my baby. And thank you for watching, and God bless. Bye.